You're 9 years old. You have a sibling. Parents are in the other room, and you're doing what kids do. You're having a great time. You're running. You're jumping. You're tumbling. Maybe you're even throwing something around, not intending anything to go wrong. And that's when it happens. Someone or something hits the lamp. The lamp comes crashing to the floor and it shatters. Time stops, at least for a few seconds. You and your sibling just stand there looking at the aftermath. You brace yourself from the inevitable shout from the other room. What was that? Then the footsteps, followed by the appearance of the angry parent, hands on the hips. Who broke the lamp? Hey everybody, I'm Chris Fitzpatrick. Welcome to Chris Fitzpatrick Speaks. Thanks for checking out my latest video. This one talking about the concepts of accountability and blame, and 3 of the most powerful words that we can use in teams and organizations. That's on me. This is the first of what I believe will be a 9-part series exploring underutilized phrases that we need to use more in our workplace and even our personal applications. Please do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and hit the bell so that way you're notified when new videos come out. If you ever feel that these videos could be useful to colleagues, connections, friends, mentees, anyone in your circle, by all means, please share them with anybody you think can find value from Chris Fitzpatrick Speaks. And of course, if you're on social media, feel free to check me out on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, wherever it is that you can find me. Now, if you were the child in this situation and you raised your hand and said, I did it, that was me, totally my fault, my sibling here had nothing to do with it, well then congratulations, you're a better person than I was when I was 9 years old, and my identical twin sisters can attest to this fact. In fact, you're probably better than most people. And if you had a pet, a dog or a cat who you could pin this on, then there's a very good chance that they took a brunt of the blame. You and your sibling may even teamed up and said, yeah, we both agree that was the dog. Because honestly, first of all, they can't speak, they can't defend themselves. And what's really going to happen to the family dog for knocking the lamp over, huh? Bad Sparky? No bone after dinner? They can live with that. In fact, when you're young and when you're messing around and something as innocuous as a broken lamp happens, you may be able to muster an I'm sorry, maybe after some time. And that's often met with the old cliche, sorry doesn't fix the lamp. You see, we become acquainted with accountability and blame very early on in our lives. And in most cases, we become conditioned with this sort of reflex of self-preservation. Consequences are bad, and to escape them, maybe the shortest road and the quickest route to self-preservation is the road of blame. Blaming others, blaming circumstances, blaming anything. There are only 3 words that really matter. It wasn't me. Now, when we're young and we're just trying to get out of being sent to our rooms for breaking a lamp, we can brush it off as part of being young. But the fact is, in organizations and teams, blame plays a much bigger role. See, when blame seeps its way into an organizational culture, it brings with it fear, anxiety, and a total loss of trust. It causes teams to fracture, silos end up forming, and productivity drops. There are plenty of studies that support the idea that cultures of blame are less productive. When members of an organization are so fixated on trying to find out who's to blame for something going wrong, they aren't focused on making it right. They're not trying to learn from the error. And when that survival reflex kicks in and members of an organization start pointing fingers at each other, how much collaborating is happening? And how much work is really getting done? Organizations cannot function without accountability, though. Individuals, teams, organizations, they must all be accountable for what they're supposed to do and for doing the right thing. For example, if an employee falls short of expectations, they have to be trained, advised, mentored, and corrected. If they demonstrate an unwillingness to improve or a lack of a necessary skill, then perhaps the accountability is for that person to move on. A culture without blame is not a culture without accountability. Those two things are not mutually inclusive. Perhaps the most important form of accountability is self-accountability. The pride that we take in ourselves and in our work, it drives our work ethic. Holding ourselves accountable for commitments is a powerful skill. And when we fall short or we make a mistake, there are three very simple, very powerful words that can empower us to battle back against the culture of blame that destroys teams and organizations. And those three words are, "That's on me." If we can demonstrate to those around us that we are willing to take responsibility and learn from our mistakes, then looking at these setbacks as opportunities, ways to improve ourselves, our teams, and our organizations, we also create a culture of greater accountability. We signal to those around us that they should not fear accountability. As leaders, by creating a culture that understands that failure is a necessary part of innovation, and a culture that empowers individuals to accept responsibility without the angry specter of blame and scapegoating from those around us, then we are free to explore possibilities, to collaborate, and to move forward. Now, it is not easy to look in the eyes of failure and willingly accept responsibility. It takes fortitude, security, and confidence to say, "That's on me." But the moment accountability is accepted, healing can begin. And for the leader who accepts responsibility and does not storm into the room with their hands on their hips, demanding to know who broke the lamp, and instead focuses on what can we learn from the breaking of the lamp, then that individual is on the way to creating a culture where others can thrive, free of fear and empowered to succeed. That's a term we've heard before on Chris Fitzpatrick Speaks. Empowered to succeed. That is the goal, after all, isn't it? If you want to learn more about the power of self-accountability, there's an article I highly recommend by Mark Samuel at the website bstate.com. And I'm going to put the URL in the comments of the YouTube video as well as on LinkedIn. I highly recommend you check that video out. Now, "That's on me" is one of 9 very simple but underused phrases that I'm continuing to research and explore as I work towards publishing my first book, 9 Critical Phrases for Individual and Organizational Success. Stay tuned to Chris Fitzpatrick Speaks for more of these 9 critical phrases and for other content that I certainly hope you enjoy and get a lot of value out of. Remember to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified of when new content drops. And check me out on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, X, any social media channels. I'd love to hear your questions and your comments. Please put them in the chat. Put them in the comments section wherever it is that you're watching or that you're taking in this video. I want to hear your feedback. And if you have questions that you'd like me to explore in one of these future videos, please ask me, because I love featuring questions on Chris Fitzpatrick Speaks. Most of all, thank you so much for spending some time with me.